Waiting for that killer app. You know, so we asked people, what do you think would really change the debate here? If we're investing billions of dollars, what would you like to see it invested in? You know, is it the wrinkle-free pants, you know, the stain-resistant tie, the golf ball that takes the slice out of your hit? Most people don't really get too excited about that. They tend to focus on medical advances, environment, national security applications. But again, the killer app for nano hasn't come out yet. And so people are kind of on the fence. They're sort of, why are we spending all this money? What is it? I mean, what's the goal here? And you know, they're still waiting, again, for this kind of killer app. And the science community talks a lot about what's going to happen, but you know, 70 to 80% of what the science community talks about is not going to make it into the operating room or onto market shelves because it's just a long way between research and market. So again, I'm focusing on what's out there. And this is, I think, an interest. The public tells us incredibly important things. I mean, every time, when I do focus groups, I usually take a bunch of scientists and sit them behind the one-way mirror and just have them listen to the way people talk. They're incredibly perceptive. They'll get the science very quickly. It's not at a deep level. They understand the oversight system. They're incredibly articulate about what they think should happen and the role of what their expectations are around government and industry and NGOs and who should do what. So you have all the makings there essentially for a new social contract between the public and science around nanotech. It's an incredible opportunity, actually, if we take advantage of it. So here's for nano and food. To me, this is the third rail. It's different. Having nano in mountain bike frames is one thing, but when I put it in my mouth, it changes my relationship to just about everything. And I think what you're seeing now is just generally, people are feeling much worse about the safety of our food supply. Every few months there's another E. coli outbreak, whatnot. So that is sort of the social background. The first uses will be in food packaging, and these are already on the marketplace. If you go, you can't buy this usually in stores, but if you're probably at the Red Sox game, they don't want glass bottles in the stands. So they use these plastic bottles, and in the bottle is a nano-engineered clay liner designed to keep the CO2 in, the bubbles, and the oxygen out, which kills the flavor of the beer. Okay? This is a dietary supplement, B12, that you spray in your mouth. These are food packaging, like Tupperware, that have a silver, again, when I talked about silver, nano-engineered silver. They're designed to kill bacteria, hopefully keep the mold off your strawberries. And here's some tableware. So these are the first applications. The interesting thing here is that we actually showed people the claims of these products. We talked to them about them. Most people are kind of ambivalent. Just give me more information. I haven't decided if this is good or bad, which is good, I think. I mean, that's actually good news that people haven't sort of said, I'm going to reject this. They're actually very hungry for more information. If we say it's going to go in your mouth, it changes a little bit. This was food packaging. This touches food. Then we started talking to them about actually putting this stuff into food. And the number that would just rejects this out of hand goes up significantly. And the next 2 or 3 years, I think, are going to be critical. Sort of how the science community handles this, the government, the press. I think social oversight actually is more important than government oversight now. Sort of how we kind of negotiate this contract of who's responsible for what, who tests. I think how people learn and with what message could have huge, huge impacts that go on for decades. Obviously, industry is going to have to deal with the real risks and what some people call perceptual risks. Sort of how do people think or feel about this? It's going to have a huge impact on the market. I think an accident involving nano could be devastating right now. And hubris is dangerous. So stuff happens. This is a game we started developing called Nanopoly, which I think kind of captures a little bit of what's going on. Cash in your stock if the drug comes out. The no nano label appears. Now there's actually 7 or 8 cosmetic companies that have already made a public announcement that they will not use nanotech in their cosmetics. So essentially a no nano statement has happened. Bad nanoparticle spill in LA, that's not going to be good. And of course, the food battles began in Europe. And that's probably where they will start. What would this look like as a novel? This was Vonnegut's last novel, a wonderful piece. He was a civil engineer by training, and he actually has, in this novel, if you haven't seen it, he draws a bunch of lines and of plots, right? So this is the everything turns out good plot. That's what the scientists believe in, and the government is hoping for. This is the thing that goes bad to infinity. I don't think that's going to happen in nano. This has already happened with a bunch of technologies. Things looked really good, and they collapsed. It happened with dirigibles. But yeah, it also happened with nuclear power here. I mean, nuclear power may come back given debates on climate change, but it pretty much disappeared. So I think this is kind of the one that we're going to see with nanotech. It's going to be kind of an uneven plot, but it may be very much like we saw with genetically modified foods. There'll be a lot of back and forth. One country will move ahead with a precautionary, other country will lag. To me, that's probably the most likely kind of plot. We just finished with Consumers Union a 2-day online web dialogue on nanotech that ran for 2 days. And it was just open to anybody who wanted to plug in and have a discussion. So we basically will be doing more of this kind of thing. I don't know if we have time to take a question or two, but thank you.